Okay, the long-awaited scripting 2.0 video. I say this as there's a small group of people that seem to get extremely upset at the mention of the word scripts or macros. This is usually an indication of people jumping to an immediate defense that there's still a prominent problem, this subject residing in the game. I'm talking people are willing to go to the most ridiculous extremes and get really nasty when these two words are even mentioned, even if it's not aimed at those people in particular personally. Of course, I've played this game across 3 separate servers, and this has always been the case on each one. It always comes from players that refuse to play the game properly in any sense of the word. If you've never heard of these two things being mentioned before, you're probably wondering what they are and what they can do. A macro is a sequence of recorded computer inputs, such as keystrokes, mouse clicks, and commands, that can be automated to complete repetitive tasks, which can save time, allowing them to be executed with a single button press and zero errors. When applied in a video gaming sense, they can be used to execute complex combinations effortlessly, effectively. I don't often mention these as they can be easily detected, but we will talk about them still for this video. A script is just a more powerful version of a macro. They are usually ran by little devices. There's a multitude of these devices now, so I won't even try and list them all, but the most notable and popular one used in video games, bonus. I'll give you an example of how these things can be used. Say a good player performs a perfect rotation. They could then save that rotation's keystrokes or button presses, turn this into a script or macro, and they could send this to a friend who isn't as good at the game. That person could then run that script or macro, and then it would perform the exact same perfect rotation at the touch of one button. These things also be activated or deactivated at the touch of one button. Of course, in games like ESO, this is a ridiculous advantage over your legitimate player. This is why when people bang on about global cooldown, I just laugh. This isn't actually the most commonly used version of a script on this game though. That would be the animation cancel script. This allows a player to use a skill and the animation cancel is applied for them, and then the second the next skill becomes available, they can use it. This allows the player to spend less time pushing buttons, which gives them more time to think, heavily outnumbered situations. Once again, giving them an unfair advantage over legitimate players. I personally have played ESO across 3 servers, and one thing that I have noticed the majority of players do not do is animation cancel the skills on their back bar, such as healing and shields. I had an interesting conversation with someone about things like this in the past on someone else's video, which I'll put on the screen now. This guy claimed scripts weren't a problem in game as it only made the player offensively OP. Of course, this is a lie, as I just previously stated. Your average player does not animation cancel the skills on their back bar, and this allows them to perform perfect rotations on both bars effortlessly. This is something only a small percentage of players can actually do legitimately. He went on to state he thought his friends using scripts and beat them, so he didn't see a problem with it. Upon stating that, he then informed me that these friends of his that use scripts are better players than me. I can't for the life of me imagine why that is. Could possibly be that they aren't pushing extra buttons themselves. He continued to tell me that people have stated to him in the past the game became unresponsive and sluggish or laggy when engaging with him. This may sound familiar, as this is what I stated in my previous video. Not about this player in particular, just people that I suspect were doing this. Me always being open to talk about things like this, I, of course, have heard just about every excuse from people I've accused of doing this on free servers I've played. Things such as, you're just bad and these players aren't, or the consistent and coincidental server lag that only seems to occur when engaging these players. For some reason, these players never seem to incur this coincidental and convenient server lag, while they churn out machine-like or automated rotations over long periods of time. I've actually taken the time to sit and watch these players, spectate their gameplay. We're talking 4 to 5 hours at a time, endlessly and effortlessly churning out perfect machine-like automated rotations. I would actually love to see this and spectate this in the flesh, as I personally don't believe the amount of people that are doing this are legitimate players. I've also heard people state this is your average console player's excuse for losing fights. I, of course, have fought console players and PC players, mouse and keyboard players. The only real difference in these two types of player that when a mouse and keyboard player moves, if they perform a circle motion, it kind of looks like their character is hovering. The reason for this is that they're using arrow keys for their movement and not an analog stick. Your average Joe with only a basic grasp on the game, one day, suddenly, overnight, becomes a god, as if they've passed their pad, the big bro. That is not how this game works. People will have you believe that I am trying to say that performing a simple rotation is impossible. Of course, this is not the case, as I can do this myself, but not for long periods of time, non-stop, effortlessly, while under huge pressure from multiple players. People also will have you believe that I'm some type of hulking out rage monster that gets angry every time he loses in PvP. Across the free servers that I've played, I've fought multiple people that I've assumed were just better than me at a high level and dropped GGs when I've lost. I personally just don't like feeling cheated out of the chance winning. This is when I will make comments openly to the person and accusations. As I said, I've played this game across 3 servers. I've fought against every available player, whether it be solo or in ball groups. Probably know, as I've said it before, but I would only play in a ball group with the intention of fighting heavily outnumbered. What that means is possibly going into an enemy alliance's home keep and trying to call a Zerg so that you would be fighting 2, 3 bars of their alliance at a time. And in those types of scenarios, I had a better response from the server than I do when I fight players I've made accusations against in low pop 1v1s. Every server I have played, there's a certain portion of players. The second you engage, your game immediately becomes unresponsive and laggy. This cannot be coincidence. I've even had people try and tell me that their playstyle is the cause of my game becoming unresponsive and laggy. I'm almost certain that there is no playstyle on this game, no set, nothing at all that will make a player on the receiving end become unresponsive, laggy. Okay, so let's talk about human error and habits. Of course, all players have habits on every game, but on this one, they're usually more noticeable as you are fighting them directly. If you have watched my content for some time, you will have heard me say what mine are in the past. My human error or force of habit is leaning on my right trigger while I'm playing. If you've watched my most recent videos, you will notice this so much more because I'm using a 2H. Don't notice this as much if I use dual wield or a destruction staff, as I do not have a giant object in my hands. Usually, when I make my videos, I don't do this start and stop method of recording my voice. And when I don't do this, my human error or force of habit I cannot stop is while I'm talking, saying um, um, when I'm trying to think of the next thing I'm going to say. I've watched my videos back and noticed myself doing this, but I'm doing it subconsciously, as this is a human error or force of habit. Human beings make mistakes and have habits. Robots do not. This is why when I see people endlessly and effortlessly performing machine-like automated rotations, I question it. Of course, this video is just me giving my opinion on this subject. This is not me telling you what your opinion is on this subject. I am just presenting it for you to view, take into consideration. For me personally, even if a dev told me different, I would still have the same belief as when you watch these players for long periods of time. They don't seem to receive any server lag, even in high pop situations. Any player that has played this game for a long time will know that in high volume, high populated areas, the server will simply not respond, even if you push the buttons for a perfect rotation. Yet somehow these people seem to manage to just be churning out non-stop, effortless, endless rotations. It does make me question sometimes if there's some sort of whitelist that I'm not on to not receive server lag. Okay, now let's talk about ESOs and EG. This is based on behavioral patterns that does not work in real time. This is more like pattern logging, reviewing suspicious accounts over time, looking for long-term, repeated machine-like inputs. This is not like an FPS anti-cheat that instantly kicks a player when something is detected. So if you believe someone to be cheating, it does not mean that ZOS hasn't detected anything. It means that detection is not immediate. With ZOS having no public anti-cheat reporting or transparency, it does not publish detection results. Player reports receive generic responses. Bans happen quietly. There are no public ban waves like in FPS games, so the community often assumes that no action has been taken. This creates a perception that detection isn't working, even if it is behind the scenes. I personally believe that people get away with bloody murder on this game, and that is why I am making this video. We aren't going to be having any audio at all apart from the sound of my voice. We aren't going to be looking at my player, looking at my resources, looking at my skills, nothing at all. We are going to zoom in and watch these players that I am accusing of using scripts on this game. The reason for that is, of course, to make sure that no vultures try and meme my video to try and further divert your attention away from this subject. You may have noticed someone in this video that was in the previous video, and his name is Ravenham1. This guy tried telling me if I posted this video, I'd get banned from ESO, which I find to be quite funny, as massive streamers, content creators, accuse people of cheating on every game, every day. So if I got banned for this, honestly, I'd just laugh, and it would further prove that they'd rather let people cheat than try deal with it, as they can't detect this clearly. He also went on to tell me that he could barely turn on a PC and wasn't very tech savvy. So there's absolutely no way that he could be cheating on ESO. Just take a look at his gameplay again. He also went on to tell me if I posted this video, it would be classed as harassment. And the last time I posted him, he got whispers in game from people with cheating accusations. It just so happens, as I play the same server as Ravenham1, and I know myself, before I even posted my last video, people already accused him of doing these things in game. The people that made these accusations just don't have a YouTube channel that they can use as a voice to be heard. Of course, I do. You're watching this video on mine, and I'll use it as I see fit, as I pay to play ESO with DLC content, ESO Plus. The content was recorded on my software, on my PC, and if I think someone is cheating and I want to say it on my channel, I won't be dictated to by anyone ever. If they wanted to ban someone for trying to highlight an issue in their game, it's up to them. That's off their back. After speaking to him for quite a long period of time, as he randomly whispered me out of the blue, I even offered to blur out his name, but I told him there is not a chance in hell that he would not be going in this video. He then told me to do whatever I liked, which I have a screenshot of, so I expect absolutely no blowback from posting this video. He also was one of these people that told me it was his play style creating my game become unresponsive and laggy. Some of the other players in this video just run straight past other players directly to me. This is what I call the virtual hard-on. I know this type of mentality exists as I have witnessed this myself on two different servers. People had asked me on Xbox NA to go and kill a certain player as they made YouTube videos. They hadn't done anything wrong or said anything to these people. They just wanted to kill this person simply because he was a YouTuber. When I joined PCEU, there was a couple of players that I played with. I joined their Discord and they were watching someone stream while repeatedly killing them because they knew exactly where they were. Again, this person had done absolutely nothing wrong, and they were asking me to go and join them, getting all excited, saying he was about to cry. You know what my response was? I have absolutely no interest in playing the game that way. Of course, this can come in many shapes and forms. It can be something as simple as you killed them or their friend, as ESO is quite an ego-driven game, especially if you put them or their friend dying in one of your videos. The whole YouTube situation is a bit strange on this game. Some people just want to kill you simply because you're a YouTuber. Then you have people that might not know how to make YouTube videos or stream or use editing software, and they just decide to hate you for that reason. Then you have people that believe that they are better than you, and because you're receiving attention that they are not, they get upset and just decide to hound you in game for that purpose. Then, of course, you've got me being me with the types of things that I say, which can upset people. So sometimes that can be the cause. But I will say the majority of people that do this, I've never even spoke to or seen in the game before. Yet they have their virtual hard on fully erect and won't leave me alone. They will literally stop a fight that they are in to come and jump straight on me. Then, of course, you have your upset Andy, people that just don't like you, talking about scripts or macros. The reason for this is because they are sad enough to use them in PvP. I personally do not care if someone uses a script or macro in PvE. The reason why I believe that it doesn't really matter is because it doesn't affect another player. My only problem with that is that it breeds the temptation to bring these things into PvP. I am almost certain there will be people in PvE that are legitimate players that post scores in trials and arenas, etc., that will be very upset at the thought of people just walking in and absolutely demolishing their scores with scripts and macros. My personal take on this and belief is if SOFs fully addressed this subject, they would be looking at losing maybe 50, 60% of their population when you include PvE players. My favourite comment from people on this subject is that they use the word delusion as if scripts and macros do not exist. Before, this subject was something that was frowned upon. There were so many videos on YouTube telling you exactly what these things could do and where you could get them. Now, of course, those videos are still there, but there's only a few. Maybe some people didn't get the memo or just did not care and left their videos up for people to view. A simple 5 or 10 minutes of your time on YouTube going down the rabbit hole, and you can see this for yourself. I mostly only found dueling videos or people doing passes on trials dummies. If you've watched my previous videos, you know my take on this type of thing. I see this as the cancer of gaming. This is not something that is new to gaming. It is just something that is hard for people to detect, as these types of things are updated to stop them being detectable. The previous video I made on this subject actually garnered quite a bit of attention. The likes and dislikes on that video were mostly balanced. Of course, the comments were sort of one-sided, but this is because of a guy named JTK. Unfortunately, I have to talk about this absolute bellend in this video once more, as people keep bringing his name up in game, which is something that he wanted. The White Knight of teamers and scripters, JTK. If you don't know who this was a has-been content creator on ESO that made a video in response to my previous one on this subject. Now, just before he posted this video, surprisingly, a group of people appeared in the zone chat where on the server that I play on to type silly things that they thought they knew about my personal life in a vicious and nasty way. They got this information from a group that I used to play in, which is why you do not see that on my channel anymore. The people that gave out this information were just salty and upset because I post YouTube videos, and all I could see from that whole situation was that maybe they felt I stole their thunder. The reason I say this is because I was actually nothing but nice to these people. They had absolutely no reason to start making little weird comments and being strange over a computer game. The people that got the information from the people I used to play in the ball group with obviously didn't realize that these people had never met me in person. They didn't actually know anything about me that I hadn't told them. I already knew the path these people were trying to go down from that ball group. There was only actually 2 or 3 of them. But I've dealt with people like this in real life multiple times. When they're going to try and mess you up or get rid of you, what they do is start asking lots of questions about your personal life. The intention of doing this is so that they can use it against you at a later time. The types of things that these people appeared in the zone chat to type about my personal life were the usual: the sound of my voice, my age, felt sorry for my children, my employment status, my physique, anything that wasn't a subject to do with ESO. Usually, when people do this over computer games, it's usually because they feel like they have lost an argument so badly, the only way that they can recover is to try and find ways or information about your personal life that they can use against you. I've had situations in the past where people have sent me images of myself and my son because they have gone onto social media and desperately searched for my name to try and get something that they can hold over me by sending me images of myself, which is just hilarious, as of course I already know what I look like. These are the same types of people that tell you to go and touch grass, you spend too much time on the game, take the game too seriously, when of course I am never the one that's going on social media and looking at people's images and downloading them and trying to find out anything about people's personal lives over computer games. Types of comments I make are always in game. I'll call someone shit or bad, etc. The entire purpose of this zone chat attack was to rile me up and give JTK the response he wanted to his video. Unfortunately for them, of course, they didn't have any top secret information about me anyway. Not that it would have mattered either way, as I previously stated in my other video, I just didn't like this guy in general. So of course, I gave them the response they wanted happily. Of course, with me being insane, the voices in my head told me to pre-record my response just in case some magical issues occurred with my PC so I wouldn't be able to reply. Surprise, surprise, my headset managed to brick itself right at the exact time of this situation. This was around the time that I knew someone had managed to get into my PC somehow from whatever source they managed to do it. In his video, he went on to state I was doing anything to stop him posting this dipshit opinion he had, when in fact I just didn't want my content on his channel. He was then talking about me being some type of scumbag, trying to bend the rules of copyright law and really laying it on thick, like I had intentionally meant to break some sort of rule. The difference between me and JTK is that I have never tried to make this my career, so things like copyright something that I didn't really understand. I took a little time and you Googled this, and when I did, it said that I would have a good standing if the content was mine. This guy and his little bellend group of followers that like to sit on the internet and try and wind people up thought that telling me that my address would be shown if I put in a copyright claim would put me off doing it and somehow scare me. As soon as they told me this, of course, I put the copyright claim straight in, because who on earth would be worried about Big Bad JTK knowing where their house is? His entire video was him saying that I miss CC immunities and him witnessing frustrations from PvP that he's probably not used to seeing, as he isn't a PvP player. At one point, he even tried to say that me vigorously pressing buttons was some kind of bad thing. This should tell you all that you need to know about a person like this. 100% has never got sweaty in PvP in his life. He also tried to use my words against me about the people that were teaming, saying that they were teaming because I gave them shit, which of course was never the case. This was just bullshit from a bullshitter trying to view farm, because people don't get shit from me unless they are doing something scummy in the first place, which these players were constantly doing by teaming, trying to make the game unenjoyable for everyone else, like little weirdos do. The whole idea of this man's video was to gain views from stolen content, which was this guy's whole MO. You can see that from his channel if you look before and after the video he made about me. There's not really anything interesting. He's not really got a very interesting personality or putting out crazy builds or gameplay or editing. He just sits and talk about other people or reading dev notes. That's it. When he checked my subscriber count after me mentioning that he was a has-been, he failed to realize exactly what that jab meant, as he was happy to tell you the type of person I was and tried to profile me in his video. Let's talk a bit about the type of person he is. No problem. Let's watch his gameplay. Watch his character. Let's see what he's upset about, shall we? Let's have a look. Because he's using scripts. That's why he's upset. This was a man that played ESO in its golden era when the game was super popular, and he wanted to make ESO content and YouTube his career. He did this with a group of other people that all got, from which he gained viewership and a small piece of popularity from being around at that time. These people made a real success from ESO content, became super popular, gave out great information, had quality mindsets that the community received really well. Some of these people sold up and profited from that success that JTK just did not have. Some of these people still stream and make YouTube videos now, and they have huge subscriber counts, super popular, massive view counts. And unfortunately for JTK, he no longer has anyone to piggyback off. This is the last bit on JTK. I just felt I had to cover that as he got what he wanted, and these strange little teamers, scripters on this game keep bringing up his name. I hope you enjoyed my best Gordon Ramsay impersonation with the start and stop recording method. I tried to get as much information in the video as I could, so it wasn't just me firing a smoking gun. You could actually take it in and listen to what I was saying. Of course, none of this is delusions. These things really do exist. People were using them even in a monitored version of this game, which was Vengeance. The devs asked me to start uploading videos with YouTube for their reports, and when I did this, some of these videos, even from Vengeance, right now, have not even got one view. I didn't want to have to keep making videos like this. This is probably the last one I'm ever going to make on scripting ever. I just wanted to cover the subject one more time to point these things out. Believe me, I would not ever choose to sit and talk for this amount of time rather than playing the game, putting some bangers on and doing some editing. So oh fucking hell, this is what I mean. Look at this boy here, mate. Fuck me. Fuck, this is a robot. This is literally a robot player. Like he is not pushing buttons himself, I promise you. 100%. That is what Cronus is. Right there. That's what fucking scripts are. At the very end of this video, you will see a clip of me fighting an even packed player. This player just randomly kept attacking me with two other players and teabagging me. I'd never spoke to this person before or know the reason why, but I managed to catch him out on my new Arcanus build, and multiple people were attacking him at the same time, so I managed to kill him and get my revenge. I left the entire segment of gameplay in and just sped it up so that you could see there was absolutely nothing wrong with my game. But when he came back out of the keep, I want you to take a look at what happens. I personally have not seen anything like this since I played on Xbox. I just want to make it clear that is not the recording that is messed up here. It's actually the game. I just thought I'd put this in as one of those convenient, coincidental moments that just happened to occur. I'm going to leave this with you now because this is quite a long video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, look, my game's just suddenly stopped working. Look, I can't do anything. Look.